Right, before I get into this video, I just want to make this absolutely clear. I'm not coming into this one wanting to hate on Franco Colapinto. Far from it. I just want to highlight how difficult a weekend it was for him in Austria. You know, it was really, really difficult. He's only had a short career in Formula 1 so far. He's had like 10 races, something like that, probably just a little over. But I think without a doubt, the Austrian Grand Prix was his hardest weekend in Formula 1. I mean, in truth, Alpine sucked. It's not just Colapinto being slow, because I don't think he was. Gasly really not that much further ahead. Gasly finishing in 13th, Colapinto in 15th. Only Yuki Tsunoda, who had an absolutely appalling weekend on so many levels, was behind him. Alpine really struggling around Austria. They are bottom of the constructors. Even Sauber scored well again. Bortoleto in 8th, Hulk in 9th. That's 6 points in the bank. They've got like double the points of Alpine now, and they're in 9th. It is looking so bad for Alpine in general, but I think the pressure is starting to tell with Colapinto, because let's be honest, right, that car sucks. It's terrible. Let's be real here, right? So I'm not going to blame him for finishing far down the order, but the thing that really worried me about Colapinto in this one, and this can happen to anybody, right? And this has happened. The incident between him and Piastri, right? This can happen to any guy that's being lapped, right? Easily. No problem whatsoever. I get it, okay? And he was punished for it. He was given like a 5-second penalty for it. Fair enough, right? But I think the fact that he made that mistake, which, all right, if you're pushing the car 110%, you spin off, you crash. We saw that last season quite a few times. There was a lot of crashes in there, not only for him, but also for Albon as well. You know, they were both pushing that car beyond the limits to try and compensate for its lack of pace. You can kind of excuse that, especially when you're an inexperienced driver, but just to completely miss Piastri, to almost take him off of the, well, did take him off the road, I should say. So for you guys that missed the race, I mean, I didn't mention this in my review because it was not one of the 5 highlights, but it was definitely something that Piastri will remember because it was almost a retirement for him. Basically going down the 3rd straight, the final straight before the kind of infield section, Piastri, who I believe just came out of the pits at that time, so maybe Colapinto wasn't aware of him being there because of that, but he basically just squeezed him off the track. And this is obviously a case of, before anybody says it, this is obviously a case of Franco Colapinto not aware of him being there. He did not do that deliberately. There is no benefit to doing that whatsoever. If it was for position, you could maybe think he did it deliberately. There is potentially an advantage to that, but when you got blue flags showing and you force the lead driver, or one of the lead drivers, off the track, you're going to get a penalty. And I think he was quite lucky to get 5 seconds. I'm surprised it wasn't more, to be honest, but he was a lap down in 15th anyway, so it didn't really matter that much. It was more the principle of things at that point, rather than actually trying to make his race unsuccessful because he did, he'd been a very naughty boy, but that wasn't the case. But yeah, making these kinds of mistakes, I think there's a big pressure on him. I really do think there's a lot of pressure. We know about the chaos behind the scenes at Alpine, the Oliver Oak situation. That's crazy, as I've covered many times, and that's all news now. Effectively, Luca De Meo, the CEO of Renault, has resigned. After giving the whole "I'm not leaving, Formula One, we're not leaving." He's left. He's gone. He's not coming back. All these high-powered people in Renault and Alpine are just leaving. The organisation's an absolute mess, and that has to reflect on the drivers. I know that, the drivers drive. The drivers drive the car, they set up the car, they do the job, right? What's happening with the CEO of Renault is none of their concern, effectively, but they'll hear about it. And it's not going to inspire confidence. It's going to make them question the future. Will I have a Formula 1 team to compete with next year? Not because I'm not good enough or I might get forced out, because the team's not going to be there. The questions have to be going around in his mind. I don't think that's particularly likely, but it has to be affecting him, especially for a young driver who, there are question marks around. Last season did very well. This season, not quite as well. So people are questioning Colapinto. And this race as well, and again, I don't expect this to happen, but this race was the final race of that 5-race stint that Briatore, who is now the acting team principal, told us about. Briatore has since come out and said that Colapinto's going to be fine. He's got a contract to the end of the season, which I believe. But again, all these questions being asked of him, it's got to play on his mind a bit. So I think that incident was not him just being a bad driver, right? It's not, because he's not a bad driver. He's a good driver. I like him. I think that incident really does speak volumes about the pressure right now in Alpine. You think about all the mistakes we see from the Red Bull driver, I should say, not from Verstappen, from whoever's in that Red Bull second seat, Perez, Tsunoda, Lawson, Ricciardo, Albon, any of them dudes, right? Any of them guys. Gasly as well. Gasly, fantastic driver. Sucked in a Red Bull though, because it just didn't suit him. The pressure's there. Its pressure is coming from all angles of attack. And I think that is happening with Colapinto as well. I really do. But guys, let me know what you think. Am I reading too much into this? Is Colapinto overrated? Does he deserve his seat in Formula 1? I think he deserves his seat in Formula 1, but I want to hear what you have to say in the comments below. Should he try and leave Alpine? Or Alpine just that much of a mess that he just get out? I don't think he will. I don't even think he can, but I don't think he would even if he could. But your thoughts are appreciated on this subject in the comments below, guys. I just want to get some of my thoughts across as always here. But yeah, like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to see more of this, and have a fantastic day wherever in the world today, and we'll see you very soon.